So the US just bailed out Argentina with $40 billion. And this is while the US government is still in shutdown. The US Treasury literally bought Argentina's pesos, which is a currency that has hyperinflated over 200%. And we're told that this is supposed to be a good investment.
President Trump is now considering doubling his promised bailout to Argentina to $40 billion. Trump praised Argentina's president during his visit to the White House, calling him MAGA all the way.
Now, what's strange is that Argentina is not even one of America's biggest trading partners. Not top 3, not even top 5. And none of this was debated in Congress, it wasn't voted on, and it wasn't really even talked about in the news. And officials are telling us that this is not a bailout. So the question I had is, why are we doing this, and where are we getting the money to pay for it? And it turns out the money is going to come from something most people have never even heard of, which is a fund inside the Treasury called the ESF, the Exchange Stabilization Fund. It's only been used a couple of times throughout history, and now it's going to be used to prop up and essentially bail out an entire foreign economy, which happens to be at the expense of American farmers and taxpayers.
Especially now that President Trump has floated the idea of bringing down meat prices by importing beef from Argentina, which cattle ranchers across the country say will not help.
Now, the official story is that the US is doing this out of the goodness of our heart, that Argentina is struggling and they represent the MAGA values, right?
I'm with this man because his philosophy is correct.
So the US should help them stabilize their economy. Which, by the way, is completely ironic when you consider that Argentina's President Javier Milei ran for election on free markets and no bailouts from the state. But they're getting one of the biggest bailouts of all time. So none of that made sense to me. But the more I looked into this, the more connections I started to notice between Wall Street, the US, and a couple of very powerful investors with deep interests in Argentina's debt. These are people who have been betting on Argentina's recovery for years. And if Argentina's bonds are allowed to collapse, billions of those dollars would disappear. And when you realize who's now sitting at the Treasury and who they worked with in the past, you'll see how it's all connected and it'll start to make a lot of sense. So in today's video, I want to show you how the US just bailed out a foreign country and why, and what this says about the new financial war between the US and China.